Here's the practical goal. A signed-in shopper is already looking at an order, so asking them to type that order number into chat again feels broken. We'll let the page pass the current order ID to WebChatAgent and use it as the input for one read-only API connector. This test connector calls a controlled dummy JSON-HTTP response. It accepts only order ID, returns a fictional in-transit status, and never changes an order. The mock keeps this walkthrough repeatable without touching Shopify, WooCommerce, a payment system, or real customer data. Before recording, I test the endpoint directly, confirm the connector is active, and check that order ID is the only required field. That small contract matters. Page context can fill a declared field, but it cannot invent a connector input that was never configured. First, here's the baseline. The North Star orders page shows order A-1023, but the widget receives no session context. I ask, where is my order? The assistant can't safely guess which order I mean, so it asks for the order ID. That answer is correct, but it's needless friction in a signed-in portal. The important part is that the bot doesn't invent a status and doesn't call the connector with a made-up value. Now, we'll give it only the page context it actually needs. If your own baseline already knows the order, stop there. Start a new conversation, remove globals and attributes, and check the system prompt for copied example values. A clean negative test is the only way to prove that context makes the later difference. For a server-rendered customer portal, the simplest option is the context data attribute. This demo passes customer equals Jane Doe, order underscore ID equals A-1, 023, and locale equals NUS. You can use these semicolon separated pairs or a flat JSON object. The widget normalizes the values and sends them with every chat request in this session. Keep the record small and relevant. Context supports up to 20 keys, 64 characters per key, 500 per value, and 4,000 serialized characters in total. Use stable machine names rather than labels that change with translation. Here, order underscore ID matches the connector field exactly. Customer is useful for friendly wording, while locale is useful for formatting. Neither value grants permission to view a private order. Now I ask the exact same question. Where is my order? This time, WebChatAgent sees order A-1023 in the current page context. The model uses that matching value for the connector's required order ID argument instead of asking me to repeat it. The observed answer says that fictional order A-1023 is in transit with an estimated delivery date of August 8th. The status comes from the live mock response, not from the context attribute and not from model memory. That separation is what makes the pattern useful. You can verify that separation from the evidence on screen. The embed supplies only A-1023. The connector contains a matching URL placeholder. The response adds in transit and August 8th. If status appears in your context or prompt, remove it and repeat the test. Customer portals aren't static. A user can switch orders, log in, log out, or move to another account while the widget stays open. The WebChatAgent :context event replaces the complete context for exactly that case. I'll select order A-2048. The page updates its order card and dispatches a custom event with the new order ID. Replace is intentional. Old values can't quietly survive beside the current record. Send an empty object or null when the visitor signs out and the context should be cleared. Sequence the change carefully in your application. First confirm the signed in session may open the new order, then update the page and finally dispatch the replacement. On logout, clear context before another visitor can reach the still open widget, and normally start a fresh conversation as well. Without starting a new widget, I ask about the order now shown on the page. The next answer uses A-2048. It doesn't reuse A-1023 from the earlier turn because current page values take priority over older conversation context. This is the regression test to keep: one question without context, one with the original order, then one after a runtime replacement. Record the exact input, tool argument, response, and timestamp after every meaningful connector, prompt, model, or embed change. Do not judge this test from wording alone. Confirm the newest order is visible on the host page, in the emitted event, in the tool argument, and in the mock response. The previous order may remain in chat history, but it must never become the next connector argument. Use the HTML attribute when your template already knows the values. Set window.webchatagent context before the async widget script when JavaScript owns the session. Dispatch the context event when those values change after the widget has loaded. WordPress can supply the same data through the WebChatAgent, _context, _data filter, or the inline shortcode. White label deployments use window.webchatagentContext and chat-widget::context, so end customer code never has to mention the platform brand. All paths end in the same normalization and server-side safety rules. A simple rule helps you choose. Use the attribute when the server renders the page, the global when JavaScript knows the initial session before the widget loads, and the event whenever values change later. For WordPress, generate dynamic values in the filter instead of hard coding real order IDs in reusable content. Here's the production boundary. Anything in the visitor's browser can be changed in DevTools, so context data is never proof of identity. Restrict allowed domains and don't unlock private order data just because the page supplied a customer name or order number. For real account lookups, let your backend create a short-lived opaque token for the signed-in session. Pass that token as context, use it as a connector argument, and validate it server-side before returning the smallest necessary response. That gives the shopper a smooth experience without turning a convenient page hint into an authorization shortcut. The token should reveal nothing by itself, expire quickly, bind to the customer and allowed action, and be rejected after logout. Keep the connector read-only and return-only order, ID, status, and ETA. If changing a browser value reveals another order, treat that as an authorization defect, not a prompt problem.